Welcome to RE Mass Talks with Amit. Today, we have with us an industry veteran with over 2 decades of experience. Pleasure to have Mr. Colin Sarvanan, General Manager, Centrotherm Photovoltaics Private Limited. Welcome, Mr. Sarvanan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amit. It's a pleasure talking to you and interacting with you today.
Thank you. Mr. Sarvanan, we want to know what are your views on the present and future of the renewable energy industry in India?
So the renewable energy industry is at probably the most optimal point right now. There's been a lot of talk over the years, and when previously wind was the only renewable energy, so to speak, of in India. But I think over the last decade or so, solar has proven to be a very viable option, and the solar photovoltaics has proven to be the technology of choice and the renewable energy of choice for India to capitalize on. And I think starting with the National Solar Mission that was launched almost a decade ago, the current government has continued and taken it on a completely greater trajectory, setting larger goals towards meeting the climate accord that we have agreed to and signed up to for the temperature requirements. And the renewable energy capacity that they are targeting and the amount that is allocated or that is expected of solar to meet up are both exciting and challenging at the same time.
Right, thank you. Thank you for your views, Mr. Sarvanan. So, Mr. Sarvanan, we would want to know, in fact, the audience would also want to know, what is the core competency of Centrotherm Photovoltaic? How does it help Indian PV industry?
So Centrotherm Photovoltaic is a company that is actually headquartered in Germany. We are Centrotherm International GmbH, based in Germany with over 40 years of background and experience in developing thermal furnaces. And our core competency is to focus on high temperature furnaces that are the key equipment that are used in semiconductor and photovoltaics and other applications in electronics as well. Specific to semiconductor, we are a part of the furnaces that are used in these high temperature processing with the silicon carbide and power semiconductor, which are going to become very key as the electric vehicles and other things take over in a big way in India for charging and other things. For a photovoltaic, for generating the solar power, we are the eminent supplier for the key process equipment that are used, key furnaces that are used that determine the efficiency of the tool and the efficiency of the cell rather, and in generating the tools there. So we are a provider of equipment for solar cell manufacturing and technologies with a very clear focus on achieving the highest possible efficiency.
Great, great. Thank you for that. So, what are the roadmap of the company in India in coming years?
So the big focus in the solar photovoltaic now is to focus on achieving the highest efficiency level and driving the cost down. And right now that is being done with the leading technology called mono-PERC. The mono-PERC technology is the technology of choice that has been proven to reduce the cost structure, and the industry is actually implementing that in a large scale at larger wafer sizes. This is similar to what the semiconductor equipment and the semiconductor industry went through. And this is one of the reasons how the semiconductor drove their cost structures down by going to larger wafer size. They were used to make these CMOS process devices at 6-inch wafer, and they went to 8 and then to 12 inches. Solar for a long time has been stuck on this lower size wafer format of 6-inch or 156 mm going up to 158.75 and things like that. The industry over the past year and a half or so have taken it to the next level, and they had looking at sizes at 182 mm by 182 mm and also a 210 mm by 210 mm. This is equivalent to the 12-inch wafers that are being used in the semiconductor industry. So far in India, we have been in India for over 10 years now with the Indian office and the Indian entity. And we have only the multi-technology, multi-silicon technology, cell manufacturing technology there. Only recently a company has planned to get into the more advanced mono-PERC with aluminum oxide technology. What we see is the need in the coming years is for the industry, manufacturing industry, to adopt the larger wafer sizes, the 182 mm wafers and the 210 mm wafer sizes, which can end result give you in the 400, 500 watt panels. The 400 watt might still be possible at the lower wafer sizes, but to push the standards of the module wattages higher, you need cells with the larger wafer size, the 182 and 210. So our roadmap right now is to bring the latest technology that is available in the market as India prepares for manufacturing. India has a large goal, right? I mean, and the government has recently and rightfully put the focus on manufacturing in India. And to meet the government goals of renewable energy and the target that is being allocated for solar, you need to have close to about 25 gigawatt of installations of solar PV installations that needs to happen every year. And our solar manufacturing capacity is of the order of a couple of gigawatt at the cell level, and maybe up to 10 gigawatt or so at the module level. A big, huge ramp up has to happen in the cell manufacturing and in the module manufacturing with the latest technologies there. So our goal is to enable customers as they see the potential in manufacturing in India at implementing at the most advanced wafer sizes and at the most advanced technology that is available at the lowest capital equipment cost and the lowest operating cost. So in the end, they're able to make and manufacture cells that are very competitive in the market and supply locally to the markets in India or for the export to the regional markets around India. So we're very committed to ensure that we have a good supply chain that is set up there, and the ecosystem that is set up with the equipment suppliers like us who have been committed to India for the last 10 years continue to support manufacturing in India and enable the manufacturing ecosystem to take off.
Thank you. In fact, you've answered my next question. I wanted to ask you about the same, but then you've, thank you for your views for, sharing with us. So, Mr. Sarvan also wanted to know that what are the company's expectations from the policymakers in India? Now we're going through tough times, and we've seen a lot of disruptions before as well. So going forward, what are the expectations from the policymakers in India now?
So the important thing to do for solar manufacturing to take hold is to have a complete control over the entire supply chain. For the solar manufacturing, that means starting from polysilicon to ingot, wafering, cell, and the module. And these are different capabilities. A company that is a specialist in polysilicon is not the best one to make a cell or a module, and the best one to make a wafer need not be a good module maker. So those are pretty specialized. So I think the policies to support one or two large companies, whether they are public or private, encouraging them to set up large scale manufacturing of polysilicon and wafers would be a good way to get economies of scale, whereas the cell and the module to some extent can be taken care of by smaller private players. A module especially, there's a large number of private players out there, and cell is a little bit more advanced than module manufacturing and needs the a little bit more intensive capital allocation for that, and that could actually be met by multiple private sector and the public sector if they're interested to do that. So the the main important thing is to make sure that there is a big domestic market availability, which is the close to 25 gigawatt that the government is projecting available in India, and to encourage domestic consumption with these modules and the cells that are manufactured in India. As long as good support is provided for the upstream manufacturing, the polysilicon and the wafering, which is intensive, power intensive, capital intensive, the cell and the module players, if they're given a level playing field, are going to just do fine and get on the market, because there's a lot of private entrepreneurs that are ready to eager to get on this and deliver on this for the India.
Sorry, I was on mute, my bad.
Yeah.
So question popped up in my mind that how do you cater to your talent acquisition? This is for the youngsters, who've been looking forward to go into the RE industry, and especially, with the likes of Centrotherm. How do you cater to your talent acquisition along with the retention of talent? Because that's also a necessity, it's very difficult to retain the talent as well.
Correct. I think this is a very important topic, because what we do see is that while there are some specialized skills and technology, the rest of them can easily be migrated from other manufacturing industries. So you have a pretty diverse range of talent available in India. The manufacturing sectors, like the automobile and other sectors, and the aluminum and a lot of other steel industries. So you have a lot of experts from the manufacturing sector. The difference in the solar would be the volume. We are talking about thousands of wafers that need to be processed every minute, that you need to move around in the factory for a very high output, and at the module level as well. So this is a really good chance for the industry to start with the ITI level talent that are very needed to run the day-to-day operations and maintain operations of the machine, and a slightly higher cadre for the maintenance of the tools, and which is probably no different than any other technology out there with multi PLC programmable program tools and automated tools. And a very specialized talent, and that talent is going to come only with a little bit of experience. So as we go through the curve, India does have enough talent at this point to build on and to improve upon. And I think we don't really see any big shortage of talent to meet the manufacturing goals. While it's going to take some time, but I think we don't see any roadblocks towards meeting that there.
Thank you for that. Mr. Saravanan, this question might be out of the block, because but I would want to know, in fact, all our audience would also want to know, when you're not the energy man, what you are over a period of 2 decades, what are you doing into your leisure time? What's your stress buster?
So, it has been a tough year for almost one of us, right? I think the one thing that has definitely kept me sane is to ensure that I get a regular amount of exercise in. I mean, whether it is, and this could vary for me with over time. Sometimes I'm running every day, even if it's only 2, 3, 4 kilometers, I run every day. Sometimes I might be cycling more often, or it could just be a walk. But, making sure that you get your mind out there, mind free, and just go do your exercise is probably the most basic for me. And that is something that has actually kept me sane, and try to, divert your mind from all the worries and the big issues that are going on in the world, and trying to see what is it that I can do towards that, and what I can do towards my work part of it. So it is a tough time, I think, but I'm sure we as a country are going to get over it and be ready to move on in time.
So keeping a positive state of mind works pretty fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to have you, and we look forward to having you more often into our web series. Please take care of your health, and thank you so much once again.
Thank you.